Hi, welcome to the Oliver Feder YouTube channel. Today I am unboxing the Clutch Max Pro Stage 3 clutch and flywheel kit that works with 1.6 and 1.9 liters that mate with 0 to 0 code Volkswagen transmissions. So if you're at all familiar with my own struggles, a brief recap will show that I've been running a Sachs clutch set and a lightened flywheel on my previous 1.6 motor, and this works great up to a point. I would say once you're over 100 horsepower or so, wheels we're talking, you have the potential to start to spin your stock clutch pack. And as you can see from the discoloration on this, that's exactly what happened. I had quite a bit of clutch slip, and I'm at right around 200 wheel horsepower, that's corrected for those who tweak, on my 1.6 build, and that was enough to spin this quite often, and often enough that it burned. So going into my 1.9 build, which is going to make more horsepower than my 1.6 build, this is absolutely not a viable route anymore. So I looked at upgraded clutches. I first looked at spec. SPEC is the brand, and literally on delivery, nothing about it worked. Their friction, like pressure plate, didn't fit with the friction disc, and the whole thing wouldn't fit inside the flywheel, even though it was sized for that. So I sent all that stuff back, and I refuse to use even performance parts from a good brand if you can't box your shit correctly or measure it or any of the above. So we have the original setup that actually worked on my 1.6 right here for comparison. And I'm happy to say we have the Stage 3 Clutch Max Pro right here to unbox. So we'll get on with that. So quick fun facts about this kit. This is a clutch disc, pressure plate, and flywheel for right around $200. It's pretty much straight from China, is what you need to know. But $200 for all of this, and it's technically their Stage 3, which they claim is good for around 250 horsepower / 250 foot-pounds of torque. With my ALH, we'll be right up around that limit, but that's at least a good place to be at versus being under it. So they say most of their clutches meet or exceed SFI specifications, which is great. SFI just means it's bomber. So this comes with a 1-year warranty for defects in materials and workmanship. So in an effort to reduce false claims and abuse, all denied claims are subject to a minimum of $75 bench inspection fee. So that's not bad. They give you a 1-year warranty on their stuff. That means they somewhat stand behind it. First thing we're unboxing here is the disc itself with the friction material on it. Now, I am not a clutch expert by any means. I am not, I'm not a wizard, but I have basic knowledge, and I can check if the things they said that are supposed to fit together, for starters. And then I'm going to put it in my car and beat the snot out of it. So this is kind of part 1 of this series, where we're just checking it out. We're making sure all the parts fit. We're making sure nothing's weird or loose. And I mean, so far this looks great. We got a 6-puck friction disc. Everything looks heavy duty. Nothing's loose or rattling or nothing like that. Moving on. We got whatever this is. I would imagine this is the pressure plate, because it's not heavy enough to be the flywheel. And this is a complete kit, so it comes with our throwout bearing. That looks great. We'll try test fitting that in a second. We have a installation tool, which basically lines up your pressure plate with the flywheel. And we have the pressure plate itself. Let's check this thing out. Oh, you don't even have to cut it. And it kind of goes without saying, they ship it with like this oily kind of preservative papers, if you will, So we should clean stuff first. Okay, it seems pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this before we touch the friction disc to it. Here we are, this is the pressure plate. It's kind of what you expect. It has that finish on it, so it has some kind of frictiony surface. We can check its bolt pattern real quick with my old pressure plate. Actually, it's pretty hard to do because you can't see through either of them. But if you look, should have these two asymmetrically set, and then the rest are symmetrical, and that's what it looks like. So that's good. We'll circle back to that and fit it up to the car. Now, this is where spec clutches failed miserably. When you touched their friction plate to their pressure plate, it didn't even sit flat. Like, it wasn't even close. And look at that, we're in business. It sits beautifully flat, just like you'd expect, and nothing's rubbing. Very nice. Okay, so that leaves the final question of this flywheel. And this should be a stock, technically I think it's a 1.8 flywheel, but it's stock weight, and it's 210 millimeters. It's a 210 millimeter clutch kit, but it has the smaller splines for the older style transmission, the 24 spline. This thing is all kinds of oily, and this looks pretty good. It looks weirdly deep, but mine is also a lightened flywheel, so that might be why this looks weirdly deep. So here we are. I just cleaned the kind of shipping oil off of it. It looks nice. It's got good surface finish in here and there and there, and it looks like you'd expect a flywheel for the 020 to look. And it's got one dowel pin, which is fine. Sometimes they have two. Usually two doesn't work with the diesel though. Two means it's gas only, really. And other than that, it looks nice. Looks like it's packaged well. It's really important, even while you're doing like quick fit checks. Like, I'm not trying to introduce any oil into my clutch, and if you don't clean it while you're fit checking it, you already failed. Okay, a little more for good measure. So, quick sanity check that this fits in there. Sure does. Very good. And now the more important part, does this fit in there? And so this is that one pin's worth of alignment, and look at that, it fits beautifully. That's nice. So now kind of my only remaining question is, this looks weirdly tall. I'm a little worried about that. So I think normally, so the way everything's laid out right now, transmission is that way, and it would sit like this, which is why you need that alignment tool, because you're actually aligning it through everything, and this is what bolts to the crank. So it all looks like it sits nice. My only concern at this moment is if this is a little bit too tall. It almost looks weirdly tall. And I'll show you what I'm working with. This is the previous setup. The Sachs kit was only this friction disc and that pressure plate, and this was a lightened flywheel I got specifically for the car. And as far as I can tell, what's lightened is that they removed material next to the teeth. Not that there used to be this much material, but maybe there was. I think stock is 12 pounds and lightened is about 9.5 for the 1.6. So I could see all that material adding up to about a couple pounds. I'm gonna go test this on my 1.6 because the 1.9 is on the stand and the bolt pattern side faces in. But I can go hold this up to my 1.6 and I'll report out in 1 second. I kind of hate that I've gotten to this point where I get a new part and I have to fully check a clutch kit that says it'll fit my car before I'm confident I can use it. But that's where we're at these days. So to test fit, you don't actually need this installed because once you fully tighten your pressure plate down, it sits flat in there. So you just need these two pieces. Okay, and confirmed. So I took the center cover out of this, which, you know, come to think of it, I'm not sure why this thing exists. Probably to keep these bolts from, I don't know, I actually don't know why you need this part. Anyways, this lines up to the bolt pattern just fine. There's a little bit of paint on the inside of this pilot surface. The inner ring of this actually sits completely snug on the crank. And that's kind of what locates it. So, and there's only one way it can bolt up. So the bolt pattern and all that lines up beautifully. And then this works beautifully too. It comes within probably like 3 to 5 millimeters of the back of the engine block, which again, I haven't touched a stock pressure plate in a while, but this works just fine. It fits. So as far as an unboxing goes and like a real cursory look over, this clutch kit passes with flying colors. So stage 3, 6-puck, like heavy duty looking clutch. Nothing rattles, everything fits, everything looks really, really good. Everything looks really nice. And it looks like it's a one-piece spring in the middle, which is great. And it all fits together exactly like it should. So, as far as test fits go, without installation, this kit is awesome. For the price, unbeatable. But we have yet to see it perform. So, I can't say anything about how this kit actually does once you start the car and run it hard. However, if you've watched this channel, you know that's exactly what I will do next with it. So stay tuned. I will definitely have a performance review once this is installed on my 1.9 liter and I get it fully broken in and all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day out there.